Yo, big up Jordan Bentley. Big up blood clot Jordan Bentley. He sat down, Jordan Bentley of Hypeland, you know the name. Big up Hypeland. He sat down with fucking Hype. He sat down with Ask Pizza, not Hype Pizza. He sat down with Ask Pizza, who's doing this really cool little October marathon live stream, which I did fucking, what, for 2 months in a row, I think, across the last few months on the Random Show channel. Make sure you check that out. But he's doing an October marathon where he's streaming, I think, every day, all day, if I'm not mistaken. I think he just keeps the camera on when he goes to sleep and shit. It's pretty fucking gnarly over there on Twitch. So big up fucking Ask Pizza. And he's having random people pop in and just kind of do interviews, right? He had like really cool streetwear people. He had like Lucas Sabat, Heron Preston, a few other people too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a cool kind of scene, little kind of chat and whatever else it may be. And Jordan Bentley decided to sit down with Ask Pizza and basically detail his experience meeting Virgil on the mastered course that I worked on and helped to produce single-handedly. Big up me and Dariush. Over the next 15 weeks, you're going to develop your brand with the help of some of the most influential names in the industry.
They'll tell you how they got to where they are now.
Reach out to our network and be generous with your time and your support. Me and Dariush were literally responsible for putting that whole curriculum together. I booked basically all the guest speakers. Apart from Virgil, I think I booked every other tutor that was on that course. I'm the one especially too that I'm pretty sure I was handpicked. I handpicked Jordan, I'm pretty sure. I'm the one that picked Jordan to do the consultation with Virgil, that legendary video clip that I'm sure a lot of you have checked out on my channel or seen other places, where Virgil kind of gives Jordan Bentley, a very young Jordan Bentley at the time, I think he was 18 or something, he gives him the fucking, his opinion and his, review of his brand, and tells him to hone in on the anime sort of stuff, and kind of just gives him loads of jewels that he then went on to kind of do amazing stuff with it as well. Honestly, big up Jordan Bentley, man. He's got a legit business off the back of this. I think he mentions in this interview he bought his mama house off this back of this fucking brand. He's got his own house as well, like young man, fucking sick business that he's running at the same time. I fucking love it. I think he recently mentioned he stocked in Zoomies, which is an amazing fucking achievement. But I really did enjoy listening to his perspective, because I know my perspective of working in the background, working behind the scenes, and trying to put that fucking course together legitimately was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. One of the most funnest jobs I've ever had, but super fucking hard. But let's listen to fucking Jordan Bentley give his impression of his time on Streetwear Mastered. I'm taking part on that Streetwear course led by the one and only great late Virgil Abloh. And I'll give you my impression on the other side. Big up Jordan Bentley, big up Ask Pizza.
And I want to say I was in 2015 or 14. Hypeland had already, we had been on like the forums. You remember back in the day, like Nike Talk, Reddit, all that stuff. Yeah. We were on the forums hella deep. Hypeland already had like a cool little following or whatever. And I remember I got an email because I used to be on Hypebeast forums from this program. It was called Streetwear Mastered. And they were like, yo, we like your brand. We would love for you to apply.
They had a photography course, they had a makeup course, they had a styling course, I think, and something else. But essentially for each course, there was a lead tutor, like a lead person figurehead. And on the streetwear course was Virgil Abloh.
I think it's important that this program exists because it's a new sort of segue within fashion, and in large part hasn't been sort of like presented in an articulate way that can influence more designers to participate in, the streetwear portion of fashion. I chose these selected group of experts because they have, the sort of palette and history within the subculture to sort of speak from a place of importance, and I think they're valuable minds to help influence the next generations of streetwear. Brands that are open-minded in this sort of format for coursework is going to help them get the most out of it. If there's one thing that students were able to take away from the program, it would be that, there's no right or wrong answers. It's only like motivation and sort of presenting something new and original that is going to actually get them further. Use this as an opportunity to work beyond the means that you had beforehand. You're going to be in the sphere of some great mentors and also students. That's the benefit of being grouped together. It's like learning from each other as well as from the mentorship and these ideas that we're putting forth.
And then it was kind of like a pyramid underneath Virgil. Underneath that main tutor, there'll be different people that would lead in different parts of the curriculum. So there'll be an expert in retail, there'll be an expert in branding, They've been expert in positioning, expert in marketing, expert in this, expert in that. I was responsible for getting Samuel Ross on there. Big up Samuel Ross from A Cold Wall. I got him involved there. Fraser Cook involved. A bunch of people.
I do a lot of freelance creative direction and design.
So I'm Jay Perry, creative director of Kinfolk.
My name's Darren Ski, and I'm the head of menswear at Harvey Nichols.
My name's Leah McSweeney, and I'm the owner of Married to the Mob.
I'm Jörg Haas. I started a streetwear blog 2001 called Being Hunted. I founded a streetwear shop called Firmament, where I dealt with Supreme, Visvim, Double Taps, and many more other brands. I now do brand consulting. I work as creative director for Hypebeast magazine, and we do a gallery as well. I think the program is really exciting because we are at a point where streetwear has evolved a lot. It's been going on for 20, 30 years now. It's become something of a staple in, well, fashion actually. And fashion, higher fashion is taking notice of streetwear. So it's become valid. It's sort of like it's on the plate now. People are watching what's happening. So it's interesting to look at it, and from my perspective also give some input from the work that I've done for the past 10 years and see where it will evolve to and what it'll be next.
Layla Fatah, been in the industry for a long, long time. I was global PR and social director for Adidas Originals. So really wanted to get involved with the program because I saw the quality of mentors that you had and really understood that there was a great opportunity to tell my story, give a bit of an experiences, good or bad, and hopefully be able to help some people at the start out of their career too.
I'm Eric Elms. I'm a creative director, artist, and book publisher based in Brooklyn, New York. I'm one of the many voices you're going to be hearing from this program. I'll be talking about creative direction and how important it is to starting your brand and keeping it consistent throughout its lifespan. I'm excited to see what you guys bring to the program and how those things change throughout the lifespan of the class.
My name is Michael Sherman, 25, creative director of ICNY Sport. My biggest interest in getting involved with this was trying to do a little bit debunking for a lot of these kids where they all believe that there's a step-by-step process to it, and it's really about taking some of the knowledge and things you can learn from other people and applying it to your own life. It's not about taking a step-by-step plan and just trying to implement everything. It's about taking pieces and little tidbits of information and trying to curate them for yourself.
My name's Samuel Ross. I'm the founder, creative director and designer of A Cold Wall. I feel like this program is exciting because it's finally giving people who have a passion for this form of fashion, art and design called streetwear. These people are now able to get so much experience, valued experience from industry professionals, and really just develop their brands and ideas to the highest level, which hasn't existed before.
My name is Jordan Roshwalb, and I am one of the co-founders and creators of Pin Shrill. You need to pick your passion, so whatever you're passionate about, that's what you need to go after. You can't sit at home and think, okay, well, these 5 people are making hats. I think I can make hats better than them, but I don't even wear hats, so you can't make hats. I couldn't pick something that I didn't wear, and even to that end, everybody wants to be a designer, so you need to separate yourself from the masses. And I think that if you're driven though, and you're passionate about what you're doing, you can learn along the way. You have to just want to learn.
I always tell the younger generation, like, don't give up. If this is what you want to do, you're gonna hit a lot of roadblocks on the way, but you just have to really just stay focused. We're looking for people that are pretty independent, have a good thinking, and that's who we want to invest in.
My name's Fat Sharif. I am a production consultant connoisseur, if you like. I'll be 50 this year. I started when I was 18. I've made a lot of things out of my life. I might not be the richest guy, but I've had a happy life through this industry, and I'd like to give something back.
I'm Harry B., founder and creative director of The 88. We are a social media and development agency in New York City. Trying to make a streetwear brand is going to be the biggest mistake you ever made. Trying to express yourself, having your point of view into the street, into life, into the communities around you, and recognizing where it's going and trying to be just a step ahead of that. And that's the challenge, and that's the recipe for success there. If you don't even put yourself out there in a humble, sincere, authentic way. there are things to learn, and I hope you learn them. And like I said, and I will be able to see them. Like this is the part that the world will see, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some stuff come to life.
This is not like a hobby, you know. Don't get into the clothing business if you think I'm gonna go and do this, you know, for fun. And you know, if you're gonna do that, that's cool, but you're probably not gonna survive. You know, you'll have fun maybe for a year or two, and then you'll say, oh shit, like this isn't, you know, maybe a little too real for me. And you know, the industry is it's hard. It's full of, you know, it's full of twists and turns every which way.
My name is Gene DeLeon. I'm the senior menswear editor at WGSN, and I'll be one of the people giving you feedback on this program.
I mean, I think being involved in Streetwear Masters is like the one opportunity that people can put themselves out there and get like honest feedback. So people shouldn't be scared to really like dive into what they actually want to do. And like, this is the time to get feedback. So if it's not going to work, then they can pivot and do something else. But like, put it all on the line, and you'll get honest feedback from people that know what they're talking about.
If you take one thing out of the program, you've succeeded. You know, that's it. Like every success is in the small things. It's not necessarily the big things, you know. So I think that you need to look for the successes in every small steps, and just take one thing out of every single day, and you can progressively go forward.
I want to see every single one of you motherfuckers try to do something special. Stop trying to do the same shit. Stop trying to create the same brand. Stop trying to regurgitate Supreme. Try to do something special and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing something different? Because 99.9% of the time, you're not. So just try to push yourself to be special. And I had to look at them in their fucking face for that one.
To this program that we're doing, do you think it would be useful? We'll give you like a code for it to go for free. So I'm like, all right, like I'll sign up for this program. I have nothing to lose. Like, I'll check it out. So what Streetwear Master was at that time was like it was like a brand incubator, and kind of like the courses that all these influencers try to sell now, where they like tell you like about like brand DNA, how to start a brand. You like look at brand case studies, dudes like Mike Sherman from like Chinatown Market, and all these just different, like Jerry Lorenzo was on there, Virgil was on there, obviously. All these like different like leaders back in like 2014 to like 16 were just part of this program, giving out like free game, teaching anybody who wanted to start a brand how to start that brand, right?
And that was the best part about it. That was something that me and Dariush were very, very, very adamant on. We wanted the course to be helpful. We wanted it to be beneficial. A lot of these brands, Jordan wasn't one of them, but a lot of the brands paid a lot of money to be on that course. They paid thousands to be on that course. It was not a fucking cheap course. Maybe compared to a degree is cheap, but it wasn't cheap if you're making a brand. Maybe you should be investing that money back into your brand, really, you know, trying to make it happen, not really trying to go on a course. But we wanted to make sure that if you did pay that money, you were going to get something substantial out of it. And not just have the Virgil stamp, but actually get something from it. So they had fucking portfolio reviews, you know, loads of videos of going up as well. The production that they had in-house. Big up Stu, big up fucking Matt. Like incredible video production, and everyone else that helped out in terms of turning those videos around. Fucking incredible. I really did enjoy it, man. Really, really, really fun job. And it's really good feeling to see people like Jordan Bentley who got so much out of it and is still kind of gaining off the back of this, you know? He's still kind of shining. He's still kind of elevating off the back of that one little thing that was kind of somewhat beneficial. It's kind of really, really cool to see. I'm not going to lie. He fucking killed it. Big up Jordan Bentley.
So they invited me to join. When I was on the program, I was like, I don't really like this because I feel like I'm a little further ahead. So I was like, I stopped doing it. I got a random call one day. It was summertime of my sophomore year of college. I was in my little apartment. I got a call one day from a London number. And the lady called me and she was like, hey, like, I know you're a Streetwear Master. Would you be interested in sitting down with one of our teachers in the program for an interview for a video? And I'm like,
and I'm the one that shortlisted all the brands. I shortlisted all the brands to take part in that one-on-one consultation with Virgil. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go out and fly out to LA to go do it. Stu and Matt and a few other people were mostly in charge of that sort of stuff, but I was in charge of making sure that the right people were put in front of Virgil so that he could give them the right piece of feedback and they could also get a lot more from it, and it would also make for compelling content. So when I saw Jordan stuff, Hypeland stuff, it was a no-brainer. I knew Virgil would have a lot to say about it, direction-wise, what he could do, what he could improve, what he does well, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't know it would go as well as it did on the video. Honestly, the final product was fucking amazing. Jordan, especially at that age, 18 at that time, very on point, very clocked in about what he wanted to do, was able to ask some good questions, and again, somebody that's willing to learn. That's also a really big thing as well. I fucking loved it. I fucking loved every part of it. Those guys created magic with that video. Absolute magic. Big up Stu, big up Matt.
Like, sure, like, I don't know who, they didn't say who it was. They're like, okay, we'll give you a call back in like 2 days. They're just like, just now that we know you're open to it, just reach out for a phone call. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I hopped on, I got a phone call 2 days later, and they're like, hey, what's your schedule like tomorrow? Can you meet us in LA at a house in Silver Lake, and can you bring a mood board? You're gonna meet with Virgil Abloh. I'm like, back in the day, this is when Pyrex Virgil was out. So like, he had just put out that big ass Pyrex video, the fucking Kanye shit was coming out, and I'm just like.
And quickly, if I'm not mistaken, I think the mood board idea might have been Dariush's, because I think he was lecturing, I think, part-time at University of Arts London, and I obviously come from a product design background, obviously, in St. Martin's, but there was this thing where most art colleges do like portfolio reviews, where you'd sit down with your tutor. Sometimes it was, I don't know if it was term or semester, but you'd have portfolio reviews where they would kind of go through your portfolio and kind of give you feedback. Sometimes it'd be a portfolio review based on a brief you were given. So maybe you were given a brief to design a new fucking washing machine, I don't know, a fucking ironing board, a TV stand, a couch or something, and then you get a portfolio review based on that brief. So that's where the portfolio review kind of thing kind of came in. It was a big fucking deal. But I guess to make it kind of palatable and easy for people to understand, we kind of called it mood boards, if I'm not mistaken. But it was kind of cool. Even the backend, honestly, the mastered backend as well, is pretty fucking sick. Everyone that built the site, like a lot of people involved behind the scenes to make it work. Really fucking cool little company. It's unfortunate it didn't really last too long, and the company didn't really go on to do bigger and greater things, and that kind of field or that market, that sector kind of got diluted, and loads of other companies kind of came in doing the same sort of thing, similar sort of thing over the years. But honestly, when it was as pomp, it was fucking great. And I think the general premise of it was really astute. I think the guy's name was Adil, I think the founder. Is it Adil? Abda? I think it was Adil, the founder of it. The kind of premise about it was that basically to make it democratized, right? To democratize the fashion industry, to allow people that don't live in like the quote unquote cultural fashion hotbeds to be able to have access to people that they probably would never have access to kind of widen the net in terms of the gathering of talent and shit. It's fucking, and it did exactly what it was meant to do. It put a lot of people on, it inspired a bunch of people, and I think people are still gaining and still fucking winning from it right now, which is really fucking amazing.
He's like, make a mood board. Mind you, I'm like an 18, 19-year-old. I'm like, what the fuck is a mood board, bro? I'm like, so I just started like, I asked my mom, I called my mom.
That's Jordan's Jim Jones moment, isn't it? Make a PDF. What the fuck's a PDF?
Mama, I'm like, Mama, what's a mood board? She's like, just put together words that you like, pictures that you like, and print some stuff out. So I print out a bunch of like anime shit, like a bunch of manga shit, and I pulled up to this house in Silver Lake with this bag of a bunch of different stuff. Drove my mom's Prius from Irvine, which is this college that I went to like LA, which is like an hour drive. Yeah. And I'm like sitting up in this house. I pull up and Virgil's just standing there on like a balcony, and I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker's tall. Like I'm like, damn, bro is hella tall. And he just sitting here. Cameras are set up everywhere, and they're like, yo, you guys are gonna sit down and you guys are gonna have a conversation. Bring some of your, I hope you guys have some of your favorite pieces, and we're just gonna talk about your brand. Virgil and I sat down, bro. He let me, we talked for maybe like 3 hours. Wow. After that, he kind of helped me like little bits in and out afterwards, but we talked for like 3 hours, and he like just honestly broke down my brand, broke down every single thought process, and it made me realize how smart he was, not just as a creative, but as a business person also too. And he just really, for me, bro, at that time, like he just kind of put in perspective what like streetwear was really about. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the time I remember I came in a room, bro, and I was like, the shit that sat with me the most, bro, a couple things. Just like first thing, it was like I had this varsity jacket that we had made China. I thought it was so nice. I had just switched from making shit in Pakistan to China. If you made clothes back in the day or make clothes now, bro, you know that like everybody starts off making shit in Pakistan before they go to China, because Pakistan is dumb cheap. There was no like Alibaba crazy. That shit was crazy. So like we sat down, and I remember he picked up the jacket. He was like, wow, this is a nice jacket. He was like, but you said quality. He was like, I have an Hermes jacket that has a button that costs more than this entire jacket. He was like, I'm like, yo, bro. He was like, look, he's like, don't describe, he's like, in streetwear, he's like, the quality doesn't matter. He was like, it's not about quality, it's about community. And what he said was like, your brand is a representation for the culture that you represent. It's a uniform. It's not about quality. It's about good design. It's about community. And it's about the impact that someone has when they wear your stuff. So he's like, when somebody wears a shirt of yours, they should be able to immediately see this brand is about that. And he was saying that the best, and he was telling me also too, he was like, yo, you have a lot of ideas, you're very creative, you could make like 7 or 8 different brands, but he was like, the best brands have like one central focus. He was like, think about brands like North Face. North Face is all about outdoor shit down to the name. He was saying that like, he was like, for you, he's like, you want to pick like one central idea when you're making a good brand. So he was the one who told me to focus on anime. He was like, you could do military stuff. He was like, I think the flag stuff is hella strong, and that's what we were doing hella deep at the time. And he was like, I think the anime stuff is strong. He's like, if you do anime, he's like, you should be looking at like, if you like Naruto, like why are you not taking the colors that are inspired by the characters' uniforms and making a jacket that's inspired by that and giving to that community, so when people see that, they know exactly what you're talking about. And of course, I'm like a young kid, I'm just like like just not understanding stuff, but it just was like, it was a crazy ass just conversation. He really like put in perspective. He also told me to change the brand name, or he told me to make a new brand later in life, because he was like,
smart idea.
When you get older, he was like, you're not going, he's like, Hypeland, he's like, it doesn't mean anything. He was like, when you get older, he's like, just like I switched from Pyrex to Off-White, he's like, I can't be the 50-year-old dude making cookware, a brand based on cookware. He's like, I need the graduation brand. So he was like, when you get older, he's like, you're gonna make yourself a graduation brand, but you gotta focus on all these different things. But yeah, man, dude, Virgil was the GOAT, bro. Had it not been for the fact that like I met him, bro, I probably wouldn't even be as concise of a brand as I have now, bro. We wouldn't have.
Honestly, that fills my heart with so much joy that I played some small role in this kid becoming a fucking huge sensation in streetwear. Don't get me wrong, he was always destined to be great. You know, the reason why we kind of handpicked him to be a part of, fucking Streetwear Masters was because of how good he was kind of doing things at that particular time, you know, on his own, 18, out of his fucking, you know, apartment. But once he got on the course, once he had access to that information, once he had that sit down with Virgil, which a lot of people would probably had that kind of impromptu kind of, you know, meeting with somebody that's kind of give them a consultation about certain things, and it hasn't really amounted to much. He actually took it and ran with it in a big fucking way. But one thing I'm really happy about is the job that I had at that time. I think my official title was like head of like, what was it? Content marketing? It was a weird title. They gave me like a content marketing title, but essentially I was working in marketing, whatever. But essentially I was in charge with co-producing or kind of offering the curriculum for the students, which is fucking funny, right? Me, somebody that hasn't got any teaching qualifications, putting together a curriculum. It's really handy that I did it with Dariush. Dariush joined at that time. Big up fucking Dariush. At that time, Dariush was really well known in fashion for doing a lot of commentary stuff for Show Studio back in the day. I'm sure he's still around doing bits and bobs as well. Very, very, very knowledgeable guy. And he was a really good person to kind of bounce ideas off and work with, because he had that academic mind. And he also was very kind of clued on with fashion and shit. But he was also open, because remember back then, Virgil wasn't as beloved as he is now in the wake of his passing. But back then in fashion, people were a little bit dubious. They were a little bit about Virgil. So I did like the fact that Dariush, although he wasn't all the way glazing of Virgil, he was open to the idea of this guy kind of doing something in fashion, being somewhat influential. And also he was kind of a person too, which is not really usual. He was a fashion person that didn't look down on streetwear, because there's a lot of fashion people who look down on streetwear and think streetwear is kind of beneath fashion. It doesn't really matter. It's fucking, you know, it doesn't really have any meaning behind it. It's kind of fly by night. It's a bit rough around the edges. Some people, especially the Caucasian ones, they look at streetwear and they use it as a dog whistle to kind of say they don't want any black people or any non-whites. It's a bit weird. But Dariush was a fucking legend, a real fucking gent. So it was really easy to kind of work with him and bounce ideas off and kind of get to a point where we put the curriculum together that obviously in general helped all these fucking brands. But I was really happy and I was really inspired and really happy that I got that job, because that job for me came at the right time, because I was a bit lost then, I think, career-wise, because when I first got into the scene, like any streetwear kid, I was obsessed with brands. I wanted to have my own brand. I kind of first got, I think my first introduction to streetwear brands had to have been like LA brands, right? Like the Hundreds and Diamond Co Supply. Then I got into all the Japanese brands like Bape and stuff, and Undercover and Good Enough and all these other bits and bobs. And that got me into that Harajuku scene. Then I found out about Supreme and all this other shit, right? And I was obsessed with that shit. And I really wanted to have my own brand. But then over time, I also wanted to work in these stores. I wanted just to be I just wanted to be in the middle of everything. And I think around that time too, or before then, I was working at Hypebeast for a bit. I'm not sure if people remember that, but I used to be an editor on Hypebeast for a bit as well. Back in the day when Hypebeast's literally a blog spot. I'm pretty sure it was a fucking blog spot, and we got paid $50 each. We got paid $50 per article via fucking PayPal. I'm pretty sure my PayPal address back in those days was like, what was it, like Zynga 101 or something like that, right? Zynga 101, like that kind of fucking email, right? Back in the day. I remember doing all that. Big up fucking Kevin Ma. Kind of speaking to him directly when he was fucking founding that fucking place. And look at Hypebeast now, by the way, right? I remember when I was used to write for Hypebeast, and I'd contact certain brands about doing like features or interviews, and they would fucking turn me away. They would kind of turn their nose up on me, specifically Slam City Skates. I remember going to Slam City Skates and trying to have an interview with them about the skate store and shit to feature on fucking Hypebeast, and they were really, really real cunts about it. Don't get me wrong, skateboarding people are usually, they usually like to vibe you out. But I remember how fucking, against Hypebeast a lot of these brands were, because of the name as well. The name Hypebeast as well, it says, is a fucking derogatory term. It's a bit of a slur. You don't really want to be referred to as a Hypebeast. You shouldn't be proud to be a Hypebeast. So there's a bit of a play on that fucking particular term. But over time, they legitimized themselves, and now look at them, 20 years in, and they're making t-shirts for fucking Supreme and shit. Fucking phenomenal work. So I remember doing all that shit, working for fucking Hypebeast, not really having a brand, not really having a voice, but just kind of waiting to be around. But then I also remember at that time, that was the time when I was kind of got aware of, and I was familiar with the Nike marketing or the Nike energy marketing roles. That's when I became aware of it. And I think I became aware of it in particular. How did I become aware of it? I don't know. Just because of queuing up for sneakers, I think I got aware of the Nike energy marketing role just for queuing up for sneakers. Big up fucking Wes from Foot Patrol and shit, and just knowing all that kind of law. And obviously at that time too, when I used to kind of be around the Steen, I'm not too sure if the office is still there, but Nike used to have an office in central London, which is a couple of roads parallel to Foot Patrol. I'm not too sure what that street is. It's not Dean Street, but there's a street near like Tottenham Court Road where Nike have a head office at. And I remember going in there for an interview. I think I actually found a fucking old USB that had the slides that I put together so I could be a sales assistant, quote unquote, brand ambassador for Nike at the 1948 store. I'm pretty sure I got it somewhere, like the thing I went through to kind of present myself to get that fucking job. Fucking hilarious, right? But regardless, I wanted to be involved, and I didn't really know how to get involved in that kind of particular role, because those Nike roles were a little bit hard to get a hold of. You couldn't necessarily always apply for them online. They kind of felt like you had to kind of be brought in by somebody, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, out of the blue, I think what happened was that I stumbled across Mastered. Like, I found out about the brand, about the company, about the startup Mastered. And then I just figured out, I don't know why, something told me. At that time, I was obsessed with Virgil. I was following a lot of stuff on streetwear. I was trying to get involved. And something just told me, apply, because I think they're going to get Virgil on board. And it wasn't news. No one knew Virgil was going to be on the course yet. And I don't think they even announced the streetwear course. I think I just applied for like a general inquiry kind of role, which I also encourage people to do. If you want to get in on places, be very go into things with intention, right? And contact these places and say, hey, I'm interested in having a job. I want to have a job. I want to work for your company. I think your company's cool. How can I get involved? And that's essentially what I did. I just reached out for a general job, general inquiry. They go back in touch with me and said, yeah, funny enough, you reached out. You got great experience for a course we're about to launch. And that's when they told me in the email Virgil's going to join. Legit. I didn't have any idea. It wasn't on the fucking press, anything. I joined, and then a couple weeks later, the fucking announcement pops out that Virgil's going to be the head of the streetwear program. And at that time too, there was a lot of negativity around it. A lot of people were, not really happy that Virgil was doing the head of the streetwear course. I love Bobby Hundreds, but I'm pretty sure Bobby Hundreds was one of the people who wasn't that fucking proud or wasn't that happy that Virgil was leading that course at that time. Because I think I reached out to him to try and get him to be one of the tutors, but he wasn't down. I don't think he wanted to be like under Virgil position-wise, which I understand. I get the Hundreds was a big brand at that time, But I do remember a lot of people not being that happy that Virgil was the head tutor, head curator. But he also, give Virgil fucking credit. I'm pretty sure in the beginning, Mustard wanted Virgil to run the whole course. But Virgil was the one that said, nah, I'm going to be the figurehead, but I want it to be like other people involved too. And that's why I came in with kind of getting all the people in place. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure Mustard wanted Virgil to be the number one person. And then, of course, once I got the job, like, it was legitimately one of the hardest and one of the best jobs I ever had. I probably made the most money I've made. I got to travel. I had a company card. I got to meet all my quote-unquote heroes in streetwear and fashion and shit. People I looked up to and stuff. And I got to be involved. I got to be in and amongst the stuff that I was kind of really obsessed with. I went to my first fashion show ever off the back of that master job and shit. When I went to go see the Off-White show in Paris that Virgil put me on the list for last minute. That same fashion show where Ian Connor kind of runs down the runway with holding Virgil's hand. I was standing right there on the side of the wall. Like if somebody had a picture where you could see like the runway right from the back of the models, I was standing onto the left like of the wall. Literally, I was standing right there. And I fucking had a blast. I went to the after parties. I got to meet fucking Fraser Cook. Had a good conversation with him in the after, a little bit of a conversation with him. I think that was the time that I also bumped into Kiko, and I kind of felt like he was a bit of a cunt, so I didn't really talk to him too much. And ever since then, I've not really been vibed with the guy. He came across a little bit smart, a little bit. He had that London thing about, what, people in London who are into fashion. If you know, right? People who are into London, who are into fashion, apart from Fashion Roadman, right? Most people who are into fashion in London are fucking assholes. And Kiko had a bit of that arsehole energy about him. But again, it is what it is. At that time, he was still popping, doing his thing, building, growing. So I get the fucking gas. But I just like being around. I mean, I was just around it all. But one of the bittersweet things about being around it all is I did realize at that time, oh shit, this isn't what I want. I thought it was what I wanted. I remember I put together this panel discussion in Berlin. Like, I booked all the guests, did all the fucking audio shit, arranged all the chairs and shit. This fucking great little panel discussion. I forgot who I booked for it. Anyway, I forgot. It was a fucking panel discussion in fucking Berlin. That went fucking great. Big up Matt, big up Stu as well, who helped out, who were integral parts of that program too. But I remember putting all that shit together and not really feeling fulfilled, Going to New York several times in a year, LA, going to Paris, going all around the world, getting fucking driven around in fucking, black cabs and shit. And then afterwards, I just felt like, what? This is similar to what I would feel or what it would be like being a part of working in that Nike energy marketing role. But then I remembered when I first got into it, I kind of got into it because I looked up to the likes of James Jebbia. I looked up to the likes of Skate Thing. I looked up to the likes of John Takahashi. I looked up to the likes of Hiroshi Fujiwara, right? I looked up to the likes of fucking Chris Gibbs, all these people, right? Who started these amazing brands, these amazing stores, Aaron Bondaroff. And I wanted to be those guys. And I knew, oh shit, having seen these guys in person, having shook their hands, having been around them, they're no different to you and I. They bleed like you and I bleed. So I thought if they can do it, I can do it too. But I wasn't happy just being like the industry person. That's a good role to have. Industry person where you're kind of involved, but you're not. So it was a bittersweet job because it made it kind of, I had that opportunity to work in that fucking sick role, but it also kind of showed me very quickly that this is not the role that I wanted. But I'm thankful I did have it. I'm thankful I got that job when I got that job at Mustard and I was in charge of putting together that streetwear fucking program with Dariush, because if I never had that job, I think now I wouldn't have this channel. I think now I wouldn't be trying to pursue doing my own thing. I wouldn't be trying to DJ. I wouldn't be trying to launch this, because I'd be trying to get that fucking Nike energy marketing role. That would be my fucking North Star. That'd be everything to me. But I think because I had a taste of it, I had a little bit of a taste of what it is to be like the head marketing cool guy job. I didn't really want it too tough. And then as well, the people that had it prior to me, they didn't really sell it too well. When I was speaking to A-Side, he left at that time. I think he didn't stay too long and he bounced and did his own thing. That was a bit fishy. Like, oh, why are you leaving? And then after that, this guy called Runner Joy, I think, took it. Or he was I think it was Runner Joy and then Sharmadine, right? But anyway, the people that took the Nike team marketing job, I remember the only person that was cool, that I thought was nice, was Heron Preston, who I met briefly when I went to New York that time, actually, who I used to also kind of be obsessed with back in the day. I used to follow his blog and try to kind of copy his fucking template of his website that he had together and try to do my own thing that he was trying to do in New York over here in London as well. But I felt like everybody that got that job were arseholes, Like, and again, it's not their fault. Like, Runner Joy, these people, big up Runner Joy, big up Sharmadine, the lady that set up War Nails, but they had a particular type of attitude, you know, that I didn't necessarily like. I think maybe the job does that to you. Maybe the scene does that to you. Don't get me wrong, Sharmadene's super accomplished businesswoman. So, you know, maybe the gas and the fucking attitude kind of come from accomplishing really amazing things. But I just didn't want to be that person. I also wanted to create things. I just want to be like somebody taking credit for like seeding shoes to fucking Dave and shit. Like, I'm all right. So I was kind of in a weird place. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of depressed about it in a way, because again, it was something that I really wanted for a long time. And then you finally get that job that puts you at the epicenter of culture. You're amongst everything that you know and love. You've got the stamp. Your people are like smiling when you walk into a room. They're fucking trying to lick your ass. They're giving you guest list. You get invited to all these things. But then soon after, I realized this is all fluff. This is all GAY. It's all nonsense, you know? And then I eventually ended up leaving and doing my own thing. But I'm happy I got a taste of it. I'm happy I got a taste of it. I'm so grateful I got a taste of it, because I know if I never got a taste of it, I would have been pining to get another fucking job doing the Nike Energy marketing. Actually, I think if I'm mistaken, fuck, I forgot about that. Actually, I think after that, after I finished that mastered, I think I was last in line. Yeah, I think I was in the final two or few to get the job. I forgot the guy that got the job. I forgot his name. Big up the guy that got that job. I forgot his name. Black guy in the scene back in the day. BNTO crew member as well. Extended family. I forgot his fucking name. But I remember back in the day, I actually interviewed for the Adidas job. That was similar to the Nike Energy marketing influencer type thing. I forgot what the name of it. Maybe it was an influencer marketing. I forgot what the role was. But I actually interviewed for it, and I got down to the last couple, and then I fucking flopped, I think. Because I didn't do, there was a presentation you're meant to do, and I just didn't bother doing it right. I kind of did like a palace thing that was kind of half-baked and not really well thought out. It wasn't really original. It was really, really shit. It wasn't good. I feel I got down to the final two. I'm pretty sure I was down to the final two for that Adidas job, and I just fluffed it with the presentation. My presentation was terrible, and I think it was at the time I did the I think I did the Adidas. I think I did like a Palace presentation, because at that time, do you remember when Palace did that Adidas shoe? The Adidas shoe that was really fucking sick. I think one of the first shoes that they did collaboration. It was hard. And I think it was the one that for a long time Ian Connor was like wearing every fucking day. It was like I forgot what the model was. It was like a black and white model. So I remember I did like a whole presentation around an activation of like a skate, like a space that could be modular and turned into a skate thing. Like it was really basic NPC. Like it was shit. It was fucking shit. And I didn't get the job at the time. And I think that was the best thing, because I think from then I went on to work in startups, which then I was really happy about, because I remember working in startups. That's when I got a real big salary bump. Because working in fashion, working in streetwear, working in cool jobs usually doesn't pay well, unless you're like the top person or you're the owner. It doesn't really pay that well. So I remember in those type of roles, I was getting paid like, I don't know, 25 grand, 23, 22. But then I was living at home. You know what I mean? Living at home, doing those type of jobs, you're fucking laughing. But then I remember when I got my first kind of like startup job, working for, I think maybe Depop. Was it? Yeah, I think Depop. I think I was working at Depop at that time. I worked at Depop at that time. And that was when I got my proper like salary. I mean like 26, 27. I was like, oh shit, this is a good, and you got benefits, there's career progression, you have company days away, you have fucking company beers, you have pizza days and shit, all this fucking cool shit that you never usually get working for fucking cool brands. And then of course that also allowed me to kind of have that fucking, go down that route of like, which I also will encourage people to do, try and get a regular job and then put that money into your dreams. Put that money into your fucking side hustles. I'm always gonna preach that. I think one of my good friends, Natalia, big up Natalia and Vlad and their gorgeous little family, but Natalia is very against it. Like her kind of idea is to kind of work for a certain amount of time, 6 months, whatever, 8 months, save up that money, and then use that money to kind of try and make your dreams full time. And if it doesn't work out, go back to get another job, temporary, 6 months, stack up the money, then go for it again. Me personally, I prefer to just have a real 9 to 5, a real normal job, feed that money into my arts, and then if the arts take off, then you can quit your job. And I personally think that's better, especially if you're someone like me that's got, you know, expensive taste and you like nice things, you like shoes, you like clothes and shit. I think it's cool to be able to have the money to be able to afford that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's a tricky position, to be fair, because a lot of these cool jobs, if you work in a cool job in the fashion industry, whatever, streetwear, creative industry, you have access to stuff, right? So you might have access to, like, I don't know, sales. You might have discounts. You might work for a clothing brand itself, right? Like, you know, Dr. Martens or whatever that makes shoes and clothing. So you get access to stuff for free, uniform, so it can afford you to buy this stuff. It can afford you to have this stuff without spending money. But then they'll usually won't pay that much. You know? So you get the freebies, but you don't get paid that much. So I'm not really into that sort of stuff. So I prefer to get the money and then put the stuff into the stuff that I want to do. But yeah, man, honestly, I really love it. It was really a good fun, really a good time, and I'm happy to see where fucking Jordan Bentley has kind of ended up. And it's cool to hear his perspective on it from the outside, because so much work went into fucking putting that course together, man. So many sleepless nights, so many fucking all-nighters. That was probably the one and only job that I did where I was happy to stay overnight, happy to stay late in the night to put the course together, finishing touches, answering emails, doing shoots, going over ideas. It was really stressful too, because I think that was the first company I worked in where they had like a flat hierarchy. Everybody had an equal voice, which made for super long fucking meetings. The meetings would go on for fucking hours because there was, you know, the final word was the room, you know. But yeah, really fucking cool job, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm really happy that I had it. Bittersweet again, like I said. Happy that I had it. Depressed when I kind of got it, but then happy that I had a taste of it, because if I didn't have a taste of it, I definitely would be pining for those influencer marketing head jobs now, which are really just, you know, it's all ego and whatever. They don't really do nothing, to be honest. They don't really do much, in my personal opinion. But again, what do I know? And again, what do I know? Big up Jordan Bentley. Big up Blood Clot Jordan Bentley.